I, Dr. Jyoti Bhaskar, Director of LifeCare IVF, shall now be speaking on practical aspects of ovarian stimulation in IUI cycles. Why do we need to stimulate? The rationale is that instead of one egg, we need more eggs, and we need to overcome the subtle defects of ovarian as well as luteal phase defects. The aim of controlled ovarian hyperstimulation is to have greater number of eggs, to time our IUI cycles, to time the ovulation, and to increase the pregnancy rates. The optimal endpoint of an ovarian stimulation is to have minimum 2 to 3 eggs of 18 to 19 millimeters, to have an endometrial thickness of 9 millimeters, and to time the IUI about 36 hours after injection HCG. Before I go ahead, I would like to talk about the WHO classification of anovulation. The most important is the group 2, of which 80% of the patients of IUI belong to. This is the PCOS group, and it is over here that we play in the ovarian stimulation for IUI. Coming to the drugs that are available to us. Among the oral drugs, the only one that is available is clomiphene citrate. Injectables, we have the gonadotrophins, which are the HMG, the urinary HMG or FSH, and recombinant FSH. Now also, the gonadotrophin antagonists too have a role to play. Clomiphene citrate we all have been using over the years. They are very simple to use, cost effective, and do give good results. Clomiphene belongs to a group called SERM, and it acts on the hypothalamus by blocking the estrogen receptors. As a result, it increases the follicogenesis. But it has negative effects on the cervix, vagina, and the endometrium, and this is what we need to correct during the IUI cycle. The dosage is 100 milligrams starting from day 2 for 5 days. Both the drugs, 50 milligrams each, have to be taken simultaneously. We have to monitor the cycle with ultrasound, and if we do find ovulation, then in the next cycle we have to maintain it at the same dose. We have two aspects which we find. One is the CC failure, that is, despite an ovulation, there is no pregnancy. This occurs in 40% of the cases. If after 2 cycles we find that, we tend to combine CC with IUI. The second one is when we have CC resistance, that despite giving the CC, we have no ovulation at all. We are now left with 2 choices. One is to give total gonadotrophins, and the other is to give CC plus gonadotrophins. This depends on counseling the patient's choice, and as well as the cost. In about 5 to 10% of these cases, we do get anti-estrogenic effect. That is, we have thin endometrium or we have a poor cervical mucus. We can overcome this by starting CC much earlier. We can give estradiol valurate in this cycle, or we can use all gonadotrophin cycle. Coming on to the gonadotrophins. We have already told you the gonadotrophins that are available. The cycle cost is expensive, but the rate of success is doubled when we use only gonadotrophin cycles. There are different protocols which I will be discussing later on. The choice of gonadotrophin to be given depends upon the LH and FSH levels. If the LH level is high, patient has PCOS, then we prefer to give FSH. While if the patient belongs to WHO group 1, or we find that the FSH has been found to be low, then we prefer to give them HMG. The dose depends upon the BMI, the previous cycle, as well as weight of the patient, the ovarian reserve, age, as well as the type of infertility. The complications are multiple pregnancy, which is as high as 30%, and OHSS. What is most important that we should have experience in using these drugs. We should monitor the cycle very carefully, and we should have strict protocols which we tend to follow. The protocols thus that we have is CC with timed intercourse or IUI, CC plus gonadotrophins or total gonadotrophin cycle. This is the slide which shows the protocol that we use in our clinic. This is the CC only protocol. It is very simple. We call the patient on day 2. Thereafter, we do a TVS, we give them clomiphene and call them back for monitoring on day 9. When the follicle size is about 20 millimeters, we give them an HCG and time it with either timed intercourse or with IUI. We have a great experience of using CC along with the gonadotrophins. We start CC on day 2 for 5 days, and the gonadotrophin we start depending upon her previous cycle. If you find that the number of eggs recruited were less, we start it early, that is on the 4th day. But if we find that the problem lies in growing, then we tend to start it either on the 6th or the 7th day. These cycles are very well monitored with ultrasound, and then we time it to give HCG when the follicle size is between 18 to 20 millimeters and do an IUI 36 hours later. In all gonadotrophin cycles, in about 15 to 20%, we do get a premature LH surge, and this is where the role of ANTAG comes. The protocols for gonadotrophins are different types, but we use a protocol where we give a conventional regime starting with 75 units, and depending on the ultrasound, we tend to increase the dosage. I would like to say that we have plenty of things which we can use for an IUI cycle, but most important is that it should be cost effective, it should be very simple, it should get good success rates, and it should be very easy to monitor with a good pregnancy rates. Thank you.